The wind in Silver Creek carried stories, the same way it carried dust. It slipped through cracks and doors, wrapped around boots, and whispered secrets into every corner of town. Most of those whispers carried one name: Tom Walker. Folks said it quietly when they thought he could not hear. Half Apache. They said it fast like it burned their tongues, then pretended they were only talking about the weather. Tom lived where the town ended and the hard land began. His ranch sat far from neighbors, pressed up against rough hills and open sky. A man could ride all day out there and still not see another roof. Tom was 35. His mother had been Apache. His father was Mexican and gone before Tom could remember his face. He grew up between worlds and belonged fully to neither. He knew the land better than most men knew people. He read clouds like warnings. He watched grass like it could speak. He could track a lost calf by one bent blade and a faint mark in hard dirt. Still, the town did not talk most about his cattle or his land. They talked about his wives, 3 of them in 3 years. Not one lasted a full week. Mrs. Henderson liked to list them in the general store as if reading crimes. Charlotte from Pennsylvania cried the first night and begged to leave by the 4th day. Margaret from Ohio tried to plant a garden but fled after a dust storm on day 6. Sarah from Boston brought curtains, china, even a piano, and talked about fixing the place like it was broken when she threw out Tom's mother's Apache tools and blankets, calling them dirty. Tom did not raise his voice. He simply loaded her things back onto the wagon and took her to town. After that, even the marriage agency hinted he should stop asking, but loneliness makes a man stubborn. One cold autumn morning, Tom rode into Silver Creek again. Folks noticed. He moved slow and steady. His coat was worn, but clean. His face was shaved. Inside the post office, Jeremiah Hollis paused when he saw Tom. "Morning," Jeremiah said. "Any mail for me?" Tom asked. Jeremiah glanced at one envelope set aside. "You still writing those agencies?" Tom reached for the letter. Jeremiah pulled it back just a little. "Maybe it's time to accept some men are meant to live alone." Tom's eyes stayed calm but tired. "That's my business." Jeremiah sighed and handed it over. "Why do you keep doing this to yourself?" Tom paused. At the door. "You ever watch a wolf circle a campfire?" he said quietly. "Cold kills for sure. Fire only might." The ride back to the ranch cut through rough country. Red rock, scrub trees, and mountains already dusted with snow. Tom opened the letter only when town was far behind. The writing was neat and direct. Her name was Ruth Collins, 30 years old, a matron at an orphanage in Kansas City. She wrote about silence and work and meaning. She did not write about dreams or taming the West. She wrote like a woman ready for real life. Tom read the letter 3 times. That night by lamplight, he wrote back. He told her the truth about distance, about storms, about the land being unforgiving. He did not mention his first wife. That wound stayed closed, but he wrote one honest line. 3 women came here as brides and left as strangers. Perhaps the fault is mine. Weeks passed. Then a telegram came, arriving November 15th. On that gray morning, Tom stood at the Silver Creek Depot. The stage rolled in and people stepped down. Then she appeared. Ruth did not wait for help. She stepped down on her own, holding one worn satchel and one small bag. Her dress was plain. Her hair was pulled tight. Her eyes were sharp and steady. They found Tom at once. "Miss Collins," Tom said, removing his hat. "Mr. Walker," she replied. "No fear, no smile, just calm." The wagon rolled out of town with eyes burning into their backs. Ruth did not look back. She studied the land as they rode. For a long while she said nothing. Then she asked, "How long since the last rain?" Tom glanced at her, surprised. 6 weeks, maybe more. She nodded. "It shows." That was not a complaint. That was understanding. As they climbed higher, the air grew colder. The wind cut sharp. Ruth pulled her shawl tighter, but did not sigh. "What's your water source?" she asked. "Spread Creek runs year-round." Quote, "And your nearest neighbor?" "The Sandyvale family. A day's ride." "That's good," Ruth said. "People matter." When the ranch came into view, the sun was low. The house was plain and solid, built to last, not to impress. Ruth studied it. "It's smaller than I imagined," she said. Tom waited for the rest. "The placement is good," she continued. "Protected from wind, clear view." Inside, the house was clean but bare. No softness, just function. Ruth moved slowly, opening cupboards, checking the stove. She did not judge, she assessed. Before heading to a room, she turned to him. "I need to know the real work," she said. "What needs doing here?" Tom hesitated, then told the truth. "Everything." Ruth nodded once. "Good. Then we start honest." As night fell and the wind pressed against the walls, Tom felt something unfamiliar settle into the house. Not comfort yet, not love, but the quiet sense that this woman was not here to run. And that made all the difference. Day 7 was coming. Day 7 came with a hard gray sky and a sharp bite in the air. Tom woke before dawn like always, but his body felt tight, like a rope pulled too hard. He hated counting days, yet the number sat heavy in his mind. 7. That was the day the others broke. He stepped into the main room and stopped. The lamp was already lit. Ruth stood at the stove, with her sleeves rolled up, hair pinned neat, moving with quiet purpose. The smell of coffee filled the room. "You're up early," Tom said. "Coffee first," Ruth replied, handing him a cup without asking. "I found your sourdough starter. It needed feeding." Tom stared at the cup in his hands. He had forgotten that starter. Maria had kept it alive years ago. He had pushed it back and tried not to remember. "You know sourdough," he said. "I know hunger," Ruth said simply. "Biscuits will be ready when you come back." Outside, the wind rose. Ruth glanced at the window. "Storm's coming. We should move the cattle lower today." Tom nodded. He rode out at first light, the sky darkening fast. By mid-morning, Dust turned to sleep and sleet to stinging snow. He worked hard, pushing the herd toward shelter. His fingers burned with cold. His thoughts stayed on the house. When he finally rode back, night was falling, and the storm was a wall around the ranch. Snow slammed the shutters. Wind howled like something alive. Tom pushed open the door and froze. Lanterns glowed in the windows. The floor was swept. A pot bubbled on the stove, filling the room with the smell of warm food. Ruth stood by the back door, tying down a shutter, snow dusting her shoulders. "The chickens are in the barn," she said calmly. "I brought in extra wood and water." "Chickens?" Tom asked. "We have them now," Ruth said. "I traded yesterday. Cloth that was sitting useless and 2 jars of peaches." Tom let out a sound between a laugh and a breath. "They ate while the storm tried to tear the